I'm Sondra Dubas, and I have been working with ToriHair for almost 2 decades. When I first came to ToriHair to deal with my hair loss, it was a long time ago, and I was just beginning to lose patches of hair. And so I had no idea at that time what was ahead of me, what the whole journey was going to look like. But I remember feeling really desperate because I had these patches of hair that were falling out and I didn't know how to conceal them or cover them up, and I was very embarrassed and ashamed, and I worked in the corporate space, and so I didn't like my image, and how I looked was really important to me. And I learned that there were a lot of different solutions over the course of time. As my hair loss progressed, I began wearing toppers, and then I started wearing bigger toppers and bigger toppers, and just trying to keep pace with the hair loss and keep covering it up until I graduated, I would say, to eventually wearing full wigs. I remember coming in for a consultation and being so embarrassed, so ashamed. Nobody had really seen me without my hair pieces or the things that I wore to cover up the bald spots. And so it was really vulnerable. And I had reached a point where I wouldn't go to a regular hair salon to get my hair done, because you sit in a big room full of people, and there's a lot of people around, and you get your hair washed and dried, and all of a sudden all your bald patches are showing and you feel like everybody is looking at you. So for me, being able to have a more private, personal experience, I didn't know at the time that that's what I was looking for, but once I got to ToriHair, I realized, okay, this is what I needed. I needed to be able to be in an environment that felt safe, that was private, and I needed a little bit of compassion. And so to be able to experience someone who could ask me questions and understand and actually see me, because I had spent so many years hiding from the hair loss and trying to not let anybody see it, that to then work with somebody who was going to look at my hair and look at my head and look at the hair loss, but then help me find a solution, was something I had not ever experienced before. And I didn't know at the time, but that was exactly what I needed. For so long, I was so focused on covering up the hair loss, hiding it, concealing it, trying to make sure nobody saw it or knew that it was there. And I don't think I realized how much I was actually denying a really big part of myself. And, for a long time, I wore wigs that were the same color, the same cut, the same style. I never wanted to change anything, because I knew if I made a change, people would ask questions, and then they might know that I was wearing a wig. And so I look back and I think, it was so restrictive, sort of the way I went about navigating my hair loss. And it was all about hiding and covering it up. And in the last couple of years, I've decided to just put it out in the open and talk about it more openly. And therefore, I started wearing different wigs with different colors and different cuts and styles. And I began to realize that this can actually be fun. And I can be brunette during the day and blonde in the evening if I choose to be. And the more that I started talking about it and just being honest with people about it and putting it out there, the more that people started to have fun along with me. And that, now I get compliments on, if I wear brown one day and blonde the next, I'll get a compliment from somebody and they'll be like, oh, blondie today. That's really fun. And so then it makes it fun for me. And, now I have a collection of wigs sitting in my closet of different colors, and, and they all look like me. I think in the beginning I was so worried that a wig wouldn't look or feel like me. But what I realized is with the help of ToriHair, if I find a really great quality wig that fits me well, it can feel like me. It can feel just like me. I always say the hair doesn't grow out of my head, but it's still me. It's still mine. Like when I put this hair on, it feels like it is a part of me. It has not been a quick journey or necessarily an easy journey. And I think it's just part of every woman's journey with coming to terms with their hair loss. I remember making the transition from wearing toppers to wigs. And I had such a stigma about wearing a wig. Why, I don't know. But I had reached a point where so much of my hair had fallen out that I didn't actually have enough hair to continue to clip in a topper. And I knew that the time had come that I needed to make a transition to wigs. And I remember meeting and visiting with another woman who had made that same transition. And I was telling her how embarrassed I was about it and how hard it was. And she looked at me, and this is the best advice that I was given that I think I would offer to any woman that is struggling with making that transition. In that she looked at me and she said, Sondra, just go buy the dang wig and just do it. Like, it's going to be fine. Just do it. And I remember going home and talking to my husband about it, and he agreed that we could make the investment in the wig. And so I went and I got the wig. And what I came to realize is all the gyrations that I was going through to cover up all of the patches and, the toppers and the clip-in pieces. When I finally made the transition to a wig, it was so much easier because it was like you just pop it on your head and boom, you have beautiful hair. And so my advice to any woman who is at that point where you're just like, I don't want to go out in public. I feel so embarrassed. I don't know how to deal with this. I'm just, you're wearing a cap all the time or a hat or a stocking cap, is you deserve to feel beautiful when you look at yourself in the mirror. And it's not even about what other people think of you. It's how you feel. And so if putting a wig on, trust me, nobody's going to know you're wearing a wig besides you. But if you can get over that issue that you have within about wearing the wig, it's going to make your life so much easier. And so that would be my advice, is just stop hiding. Stop hiding from yourself. As much as you're hiding from the rest of the world, there's a part of you that's hiding from yourself. I know, because I was her. But the greatest gift you can give yourself is just finding that self-love and acceptance. And for the longest time, I reached a point where I got the great wig and I could pop on the wig and put my makeup on and look at the mirror and go, yeah, she's okay. But the truth is, when I didn't have the wig on and I didn't have the makeup on, I had a hard time looking in the mirror for a lot of years. That's changed. So not just do I feel better in my wigs now and how I present myself to the world, but I can honestly say that without the wig on, without the makeup on, I can finally now look in the mirror and go, yeah, you're okay. If wearing wigs can help another woman traverse that journey and not just get to a place where you feel good about yourself going out in public, but that you can also heal what's happening inside and feel good about yourself without the wig, that's what it's really all about. So the wig is kind of a temporary fix, The wig helps you feel good to leave your house and go out the door. But the real work that's happening underneath the wig is the transition that's happening inside. And I can honestly say that that is what is special and unique about ToriHair, is not only are you getting the beautiful hair, but there's a whole support system that is helping you heal on the inside too.